Hey guys, it's Bridget with San Diego Seed Company, and today I'm at my Ramona farm and we're going to talk about corn. How do you plant it? Why do you plant it? When do you plant it? All the details you need to know about corn. But before I do that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you're notified anytime we put out a video. So I'm from the beautiful flyover state of Kansas, where corn is king. And growing up, we were surrounded by cornfields. And actually, funny fact, you totally can get lost in a cornfield. It's actually kind of scary. Happened to me a few times as a kid. Anyways, I've got really good cardinal directions now because of that. Corn is a really great crop that I think is often overlooked as a backyard crop because people think that you can't grow it in a small scale. Now, this is a pretty big plot because we're doing seed production, but I've done small plots of corn seed grow outs on our urban farm, which is just 1 acre. So there are some things to know, but it is absolutely possible to grow delicious, sweet, amazing corn, or popcorn, or dent corn. There's lots of different varieties in your backyard garden on a small scale. Totally possible, and I also recommend it. It's really fun. So what are the 3 types of corn? So you have sweet corn. That's the regular corn that you get at the store that you eat, corn on the cob, 4th of July, delicious. It has a lot of sugar content in it, and that is what we think of when we think of regular eating corn. Then we have popcorn, which popcorn, the actual seed is different. The endosperm in the seed is shaped differently, and it's used for popping. It's what we make popcorn out of. That's actually what this is. This is glass gem popcorn. If you grew this out expecting to eat it like regular corn, you would be sorely disappointed. It's pretty rock hard, and it's meant for popping. We actually like to take the whole cob, throw it in the microwave, and pop it on the cob, and then eat it like that. And then you have dent corn, or corn that is used for milling, and that's corn that is also not great for eating regularly. It is dried, and then it is milled to make tortillas, or any type of cornmeal product, or it's also used as animal feed. So you're probably not going to grow that in your backyard. You might. There's beautiful varieties out there that are very ornamental, but they're not very easy for eating. Popcorn and sweet corn are the 2 most popular corns for the backyard grower because you get something out of it that's pretty easy to consume and really fun. This popcorn here, I'll tell you how I planted it and how you would plant your corn at home. So corn is something that you can start in, you can actually plant the seeds in 6-packs, or you can direct sow. Now I know if my grandma was still alive, she would be rolling in her grave if she knew that I'm suggesting that you transplant corn, because traditionally you direct sow it. However, it's very easy to start the seed in a 6-pack or a tray and transplant out. You just have to watch them very carefully because they grow so quickly, they can very easily become root bound. So really within the matter of a couple weeks, they need to go from that tray into the ground. These here were all direct sown. We actually used the seeder that we walked down these rows and seeded the corn. Corn grows very easily in warm, moist soil. And that's one of the reasons why people advocate for direct sowing, because it's really simple, as long as you can keep the crows away from it. So what we did is we prepped the field, laid the irrigation, sowed the seed, watered them really well, and then we covered it up with row cover, because we've got like 4 crows that fly around here. I don't know where they're at now, but they fly around here and just wait for me to leave a bed uncovered, and then they dig up whatever I planted and eat it. So if you planted corn and nothing popped up, that might be one of the reasons why. So these guys were planted I think it was 2 weeks ago now. They've germinated very quickly, very easily. It's a very high quality corn seed, good germination. So the key to growing it in your backyard is making sure that you plant enough of it for pollination. So you're never going to get any ears of corn if you only plant 1 or 2 stalks. You need to plant a block of corn. I always recommend planting at least the whole pack and doing it in a block, in a square or a circle, so that the pollen can be sure to transfer from one plant to another. You can see here that these are pretty close together. That's partly because the cedar I have is not super high quality, and it's just the way it happened. I'm not going to thin these. I'm just going to leave them just as they are. They're going to grow very close together, but that's okay because it's going to ensure really good pollination. Corn is a wind-pollinated crop, which means it blows from one plant to another. And if the plants are not close together and they don't receive the pollen, that's when you unwrap a corn cob and you notice that you're missing a bunch of kernels. It's because it wasn't actually fully pollinated. So this corn is going to stay in the ground. We're going to do very little to this. We're going to irrigate it regularly. I might give it a shot of fish emulsion because the soil here is pretty bad. It doesn't have a lot of organic matter. But other than that, I'm just going to let it grow. Come midsummer, we're gonna have beautiful plants, which we will actually hand pollinate by shaking to ensure that we get really good seed production. And then come late summer, we'll harvest the dry corn cobs. I will eat some of them because they're delicious, but the rest of them will end up going into our seed vault, which we will then package for you guys. So that, in a nutshell, is how you plant corn. And if you've never planted it before, I do recommend that you start with the sweet corn. Why? Well, because if you're gonna go through all the trouble of planting it, you might as well have some delicious cobs of corn that you can eat on 4th of July or midsummer. Nothing is more tasty than delicious, fresh, sweet corn that you've just harvested from the garden. Now, keep in mind that most varieties of open pollinated corn or common corn varieties that you get from seed catalogs are going to be varieties that don't have a very long shelf life. So you want to harvest them at their optimal sweetness. And how do you know when that is? Well, if you peel back the corn cob leaves a little bit and you actually take your thumb and you pierce one of the kernels and it comes out very white and milky, that's the highest sugar content that that cob is going to have. You want to harvest it, and then I recommend eating it immediately. I like to throw it in a boiling pot of water for just a few minutes, slather it with butter, salt, pepper. You could do Parmesan. I mean, so many different ways you can eat it, and then enjoy it right then when it has the highest sugar content and is the most delicious. Whether or not you decide to grow corn in your garden, I know that you have precious space and it may not be worth it, but if you have a little space that you're willing to give up, I highly recommend it. It's super fun and really a neat plant to grow that you totally can grow in a small space as long as you put it in blocks so that the pollination happens fully and you get lots of cobs that you can enjoy.